Okay, so to really get a handle on our future with artificial intelligence, we're not heading to some high-tech conference or a fancy university lecture. Nope, we're going back to school, elementary school.
I mean, this is the big question now, isn't it? In a world just jam-packed with screens and AI and algorithms, what are the absolute rock-solid fundamentals that we all need to get, not just as adults, but, from the very beginning?
You heard that right. Our guide for today is basically a digital textbook. It's made for kids from 1st all the way through 5th grade. And it turns out, the way we're teaching kids about all this stuff, it might just be the clearest way for all of us to understand it. So, settle in. Class is officially in session.
So get this, the first half of this textbook, it's not even about code or microchips or anything like that. It's about how to be a good human in a digital world. They call it digital citizenship. And it starts with a lesson that's surprisingly simple, but honestly, so crucial. Before kids even learn what an algorithm is, they're being taught how to turn the darn thing off. The very first concept is all about creating space, about finding some balance in a world that is always on.
And here's the key vocabulary word for today: a device-free moment. The textbook's definition is just so wonderfully simple. It's not this big, complicated thing. It's just time without screens. It's being taught like a foundational skill, kind of like learning to tie your shoes or look both ways before you cross the street.
And this just nails it, right? It shows exactly when those moments are the most important. The textbook actually has a quiz that asks students to pick good times for a break, and the answers are things we can all relate to. During meals, before you go to sleep, when you're just out for a walk. The whole idea is to build a habit of disconnecting, to give our minds, and yeah, our eyes, a much-needed rest.
You know, what's really great about this is how direct the warning is. It's a simple cause and effect that even the youngest kids can totally get. Constant use equals burnout. It's a lesson a lot of us grown-ups are still struggling to learn, let's be honest.
And here, the textbook actually frames it as a choice. On one side, you've got the pressure of what it calls grind culture, just working and watching stuff nonstop. And on the other side, you've got the solution, self-care. I mean, we are literally teaching 5-year-olds the vocabulary to push back against that feeling that you have to be online all the time. So with that foundation set, the textbook finally pivots to the tech itself.
All right, so with those human fundamentals in place, the curriculum makes a big turn. How in the world do you explain one of the most powerful and complex forces of our time to, say, a 2nd grader? Well, it turns out you start really simple.
That's it. That's the definition. There's no jargon, no crazy theories, just a super clear, direct sentence that gets right to the heart of what AI is trying to do. It's a machine that copies the way we think and learn. Simple as that. And to make it feel real, the book immediately connects AI to a kid's world. It's not some weird sci-fi concept from the future. No, it's in your phone, it's your smart TV, it's Alexa or Siri answering your questions. It makes this huge, abstract idea feel totally tangible and familiar.
Okay, so if an AI can learn, the next obvious question is, how? And this is where things could get super complicated, but the textbook handles it with this simple step-by-step process that, and this is key, also introduces one of its biggest problems. Right here, this is basically the entire process of machine learning in a nutshell. Step 1, you feed the machine tons and tons of data, pictures, words, sounds. Step 2, it sifts through all that stuff to find patterns. And Step 3, it uses those patterns to make educated guesses. See? It's simple, logical, and really easy to follow.
And this is the twist. The curriculum doesn't just ignore the problems. It uses that same simple training model to ask a really powerful question. What if the stuff the AI is learning from is messed up from the start?
Honestly, this definition of AI bias is fantastic. It's framed like a preference, almost like a picky eater, when AI likes only certain things and ignores others. It makes this massive ethical problem something a kid can immediately understand. And the consequence is stated just as clearly. This isn't just some technical glitch we're talking about. It's a problem that has a real impact on real people. An AI that learns from biased data can end up treating people unfairly. And this might be the most important part. The textbook puts the responsibility right where it belongs, on us, on humans. The problem is bad data. So the solution? The people building these things have to do better. They have to give it fair, equal, and representative data. It's not just a coding lesson, it's a lesson in ethics and accountability.
So, after covering our digital well-being and the nuts and bolts of AI, the book ends with a few questions to make sure these big ideas really stick. So, let's see how you do on the final exam. Ready?
First question. The answer, as our 5th graders are now learning, is plagiarism. Yep, we're already teaching the next generation about the ethics of using AI-generated content. Pretty wild, huh?
Next up, again, the textbook takes a really complex and frankly controversial technology and just boils it down. It's a camera that knows your face. It takes the mystery out of it, so we can actually have a real conversation about it.
Okay, now for something a little more philosophical. This one gets right to the heart of how we relate to AI. Can a chatbot actually replace a real human connection? The textbook has a very clear answer on this.
And the answer is a big, emphatic no. The guidance here is crystal clear. AI is a tool, not a friend. When you're feeling lonely, the answer isn't to go talk to a machine. It's to reach out to another person. It's such a powerful, human-first message.
So when you boil this whole thing down, the lessons we're teaching our youngest students are pretty much the same ones we all need to master. First, be mindful. Be intentional with your time and attention. And second, don't just blindly use these tools. Be critical. Understand how they work, where they fall short, and who's responsible for them.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? If this is the stuff we're teaching children, what does that say about what we know? This is the new baseline for being digitally literate. So the real question is, where do we go from here?